Hello, fellow Michigan football fans. Welcome back to my channel. Now, even though hold on, this is the other star of my setup here, my camera, no, my microphone. Now, even though I will sometimes stray away and talk about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and Ryan Clark and RG3 and how bad the NBA is, this is for the most part a Michigan football channel. So we're going to talk some more Michigan football tonight in this early summer leading up to Team 146. Please smash that like button. Let me know who's here. If you see fit, let me make sure I can see myself on YouTube. I'm going to say a few words. This stream is entitled "Will Sherrone Moore have a better second year?" And I think the answer is going to be yes. Marmar's going to come through. Well, he's supposed to. I don't know if any of the other guys show up. Hopefully they do. They got me to shoot. I'm at the start of this stream. I'm almost at 1400. I was stuck at 1380 for a while, but hey, I guess the key is invite Johnny Olden's gang over, and your that'll grow your subscriber base. All right, let me make sure I can see myself here. Please smash that like button. Let me know what you think about any of this. All right, there is an ad. Okay, let me skip the ad. All right, let's go blue. Let me mute myself. All right, let me play the intro, and yeah, we'll jump in. I have a little bit of analysis, and I think Marmarsky's going to come through, and if Maniac wants to come through, or Dom wants to come through, if anyone else wants to come up and talk and give their 2 cents, you're welcome to do so in the next hour. John Stoops, Go Blue, thank you for being here. He says, absolutely, he will do better. I personally think Michigan wins the Big Ten. All right, Buckeye fan, there you go. We have a prediction right there that Michigan is going to win the Big Ten. And I don't think that is out of the question. Joe Klatt ranked Penn State #1. We might not be laughing in November, but he ranked Penn State #1. Penn State always has a way of eliminating themselves. James Franklin, he has a way of pissing games away. They haven't shown that they can throw the ball vertically down the field consistently. So, yeah, I think Michigan is a good bet for winning the Big Ten title. All right, let's go blue. Hey everyone, welcome back to Big Discussions 76 Sports. My name is Dr. Anwar Youssef Dunbar. I am a proud Michigan alum, and I am a proud supporter of Michigan sports, specifically the Michigan Wolverines football team. Shout out to Marcus Williams. I'm also a graduate of Johnson C. Smith University. Marcus said that I only claim Michigan in my content, but I was at an HBCU before I attended the greatest university in the world, the University of Michigan. I'm wearing my favorite Michigan shirt. This goes back about 25 years. Simply Michigan, 1817, and this football right here. I was thinking before I started the stream that I had another favorite shirt with a little Wolverine on it. It was gray, and I was at a football game my first or second year with a classmate named Tigwa, from the Department of Pharmacology, and that was one of my favorite shirts. And I was just thinking, I never would have thought 25 years ago as a graduate student that I'd be here on YouTube making Michigan football content. But I'm also an author. I published a sports related book. I'll talk about that some other time because you guys want to hear about the Wolverines. So a couple things. So I was looking at the schedule at work today when I should have been working. I hope my boss doesn't watch this. But I'm going to pull the schedule up really, really quickly. We're going to sprint through it here. So we know that Michigan opens up with New Mexico at home. I'm making my travel plans right now, or I'm starting to think about my summer travel plans. And a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking, okay, I want to go to the Oklahoma game, but Marmarski said that he's going to the New Mexico game, and I think some of the other guys were thinking about going to the New Mexico, the Lobos, the opener. And yeah, so, but a problem is they don't have any of the times listed yet. So that would be very, very helpful for me if they would list the times, because I'll be someplace before that first game. So I'll either go to that first game or I'll go to that second game because I've never been to Norman, Oklahoma, and that's going to be a big game. The tickets, when I last checked, were very, 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 very reasonable. But I noticed earlier today that the times weren't posted for any of these games. All right. So the Wolverines open with New Mexico on August 30th. That is Labor Day weekend. The next week, they go down to Norman, Oklahoma to play the Sooners. Okay. Right now, Bryce Young is predicted to be the starting quarterback unless Mikey Keene rips it from him somehow. The next week, the Wolverines host Central Michigan. Okay, so the Wolverines should start, if not 3-0, 2-1. And I was watching another channel the other night, and Oklahoma has the kid from I think Washington State, McTeer. I think that's his name. So they've got a transfer veteran quarterback coming into their program. So that's going to be a home game for them. They're going to be pretty ramped up for that one to have Michigan come in there. So if Michigan doesn't start 3-0, they should start 2-1. All right. Central Michigan. So they have Central Michigan after that. And then they go out to Lincoln, Nebraska. I won't go to Norman, Oklahoma and then Lincoln, Nebraska, but I would like to go to Lincoln, Nebraska because I've never been there. I've never been. Okay, so they host Wisconsin the next week. That's in Ann Arbor. It's not at Camp Randall. They go out to USC, Los Angeles on October 11th. They go out to Washington comes to Ann Arbor on October 18th, and then the Wolverines go up to East Lansing, Michigan, to play the Spartans. I've been to Spartan Stadium. I'm not that pressed to go to that game unless it's going to really, really be a rivalry game where Michigan State poses a real threat. There's a bye. No, that's not the bye week. The Wolverines host the Purdue Boilermakers, and then there's a bye week. They go out to Chicago to play the Northwestern Wildcats on November 15th. They come here to play the Maryland Terrapins on November 22nd. I'll be at that game since it's here. And then the Wolverines host Ohio on November 29th, Thanksgiving weekend. So the first bye, I was thinking about going somewhere on that first bye week, which is at the end of September, but I think I'm going to have another commitment that first bye. So there are two byes. The first bye is right there at the end of September. So yeah, that's the slate of games, and I'm trying to figure out that first one, and they don't have the times posted yet. They probably won't post those until August. Okay. Let's see. Marmar's there in the chat. John Stoops says, if OSU played Oklahoma, I would say it's not at noon. Okay. So you're thinking that's going to be a 4:30, or they'll make it a night game. I don't see why they don't make it a night game. What's going on, Marmarski? I'll try to keep this short so you can come up. And then Keegan, peace to Keegan. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I needed one more to get to 1,400. All right. You know, this topic for my opening monologue, hold on. Since I just mentioned Ohio, we gotta go with a classic Brady Hoke drop here. Hold on.
But I was not a fan of that university in Ohio because my buddies were, so I had to be different.
All right. So I think all of us were wondering after last year, after Team 145, would Sherrone have a better second year? And guys, I'm going to admit the inspiration for this stream came from none other than Garrison. Garrison. I peeked it on Johnny Olden's Sunday show. And as per usual, I was out running around. But yeah, Garrison was there. I didn't see Maniac there. I think I saw Marmarski there. But Garrison was going on about how Sherrone wasn't a good CEO. So Sherrone took a lot of criticism last season, and this is independent of Connor Stallions and deleting text messages. But Sherrone took a lot of criticism, you know, for not getting a top tier quarterback in here after JJ declared for the NFL draft, and also for the quarterback carousel, the instability at that position, but also for his coaching staff, particularly on the offensive side of the ball. So Garrison really laid the wood or took Sherrone out to the woodshed on Johnny's show on Sunday. So, you know, and I have a short piece here. I'm gonna read for you guys. Marmarski says, "I'm almost done at work." And Keegan, my guy, appreciate the support. Okay, so Marmar's gonna come in a little bit, but it says it in this short piece that I'm gonna go over that the major hole in Team 145 was the offensive side of the ball. Okay, it's a couple things there. When you compare Team 145 to Team 144, our beloved national championship team, obviously JJ went to the NFL. You have I think JJ was a 4-star, but he was a first round draft pick. So we had a first round draft pick with arm, with mobility, who was razor sharp and just that driven. So you go from that kid to Davis Warren. And it's funny because oftentimes when Davis would line up behind center, him and JJ basically had the same build, you know. So there were times when I was watching and I was thinking, okay, but it wasn't JJ. And so you saw Davis Warren have the happy feet and turn the ball over. And he didn't quite get his footing until the end of the season. And then even then, he threw that pick to Jack Sawyer when Michigan was there at the goal line. I'll never forget that. Michigan somehow won that Ohio State game out of the snake pit. So there was the quarterback instability. You had the young offensive line. One of the things that made Team 144 so successful was that it had a stout veteran offensive line. Drake Nugent, he transferred in, but it was anchored by guys like Trevor Keegan and Zach Zenter and Trente and Ladarius and Carson Barnhart, even though he took a lot of criticism against Penn State. You had a stout offensive line. So you had the quarterback and you had the offensive line, but you also had an offensive coordinator. Sherrone was the offensive coordinator. And regardless of our instability at quarterback last year and the youth of the offensive line and the inexperience of the offensive line, you still had two uber talented running backs back there with Khalil Mullings and Donovan Edwards. Kirk Campbell was the offensive coordinator, and I think a lot of us watched those games scratching our heads, wondering what the hell is going on. Okay, we have a young offensive line. Okay, you have an inexperienced quarterback. He has some talent. Okay, I think a lot of us thought that Alex Orji would come in and run the run pass option. Shout out to Coach Antoine. I think a lot of us were expecting that, and they decided to start Davis Warren. I heard that Jack Tuttle was supposed to be the guy, but he was battling injuries. And when he did come back, he didn't really uh, light things up beyond those first two series out at Washington. But what the hell was Kirk Campbell doing? Continuously lining Davis Warren up in uh, four wide sets. His main target was Colston Loveland, and I love Colston Loveland. I love that kid ever since he caught that deep ball against Ohio State down at the Snake Pit in 2022. But the offense was centered mostly around Colston Loveland and the running of Khalil Mullings. Khalil Mullings single-handedly kept our offense in most of those games last season. Donovan didn't have a really good season. My thing is Donovan, if you gave Donovan nice gaping holes like the ones he had against Ohio State at the end of the 2022 game or early on against Washington in the national title game, Donovan could take off to the races, and he looked pretty doing it. But if Donovan didn't have those nice holes, he had problems reading the holes, and sometimes he would turn the ball over, like he did at Washington. And there was just overall a lack of creativity there. Shout out to Johnny Olden. Where's the eye candy? Where is the eye candy? Where is the eye candy? Where's all the repositioning on offense? Where's the wide receivers running to this side, running to that side? Where are the shifts with the tight ends? We didn't really see that last year with Team 145. I'm at 18 minutes. I took a look at the statistics earlier, okay? And a team cannot win. A team can barely win 7 to 8 games with this passing game in particular. Let me pull this up for you guys. All right, so this is the Big Ten football stats from 2024. Let me switch here. So you have Will Howard. You have Will Howard there. Shout out to Johnny Olden. He was good for making a couple of boneheaded plays every game. He made some against us, but he did rebound to win a national title. So shout out to Will Howard. So Will Howard was number one there at the top. He played 16 games, completed 309 balls. He had a 73% completion percentage. He threw for 4,010 yards. He threw for 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and he had a passer rating of 175.3. And he threw for 250.6 passing yards per game. And who was at the bottom? Davis. Davis was right there at the bottom. Number 17 out of 17. Davis Warren last season played in 9 games because he did get yanked after the first 2 of the first 3 he got yanked. So he played in 9 of 12 games. Davis completed 134 balls. Compare that to Will Howard's. Will Howard completed 309 passes. Davis completed 134. Davis had a 64.1% completion percentage for 1,199 yards. Will Howard threw for 4,010 yards. Davis threw 7 touchdown passes. Okay. He threw 9 interceptions. It felt like it was more. Davis had a 5.7 yards per attempt average. So he wasn't hitting it out of the park. Okay. And Davis had a average of 133.2 yards per game. And he had a passer rating of 114.7. Okay. Dead last. Okay. Um, I think the next best passer rating here was who's this kid here? The kid from Rutgers. No, it was Aiden Childs from Michigan State. And the only kid with the worst passer rating was this Braden Locke kid. But I'm showing this to show just fixing this would have made Team 145 a playoff team with the defense that we had. Okay, and this for the team to go, well, was that 7-5 or 8-5 with this? It's a miracle that the team did that. Please smash that like button if you're not subscribed. Please consider subscribing. Marmar, let me know when you're there in the chat and you're ready to come up. And if you switch to the team passing stats, they pretty much mirror this. They pretty much mirror this. So Ohio State was right there at the top once again, and then we were at the bottom. Okay, and so so Jack Tuttle did get some reps against Washington, and I think the game after that, they were rotating Alex Orgy in there as well. So it was a rough season at quarterback. Okay, just overall, and it was painful to watch. It was painful to cover much of that season until the end. And there were definitely times when we wondered what the hell was going on. So Sherrone, so it was a respectable finish. It was a painful season, and that was due to the offense, the young offensive line, the quarterback carousel, and then the play calling and the lack of creativity from our offensive coordinator, Kirk Campbell. And as much as I love Colston Loveland, you need more. You need more than that. You need more than your tight end running down the field and then running those out routes to the sideline. You need your wideouts. You need down the field throws. You need creativity. You need reverses. You need even with Khalil Mulling's strong running, you need creativity in that running game. And I was also thinking earlier for Team 144, our championship team, we didn't have tall wideouts. Roman wasn't tall. I think Cornelius was our tallest wide receiver at 6'2" or 6'3". So we didn't have any prototype stud wide receivers on our national championship team. The difference was JJ's throws and the creativity of the play calling, and of course the offensive line play. So even with Tyler Morris and Samaj Morgan and Fred Moore, even with little guys, there could have been more creativity out there to get those guys into space and to get more productivity on offense. And we didn't go downfield to the Amarian Walker kid as much as we could have. That was a tall kid. He could compete for jump balls. And so fixing the offensive coordinator, which Sherrone has done, getting a stud quarterback in there, even though he's going to be a freshman, Michigan will finish much higher than last place in terms of our passing offense. Let me read this for you guys really, really quickly. And then Marmar, I will drop the link. And whoever wants to come up, you will be able to come up. Please smash that like button. I'm sorry. Please smash that like button if you haven't. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Guys, I promise this will be short. This will be short. I saw this on Go Blue Michigan Wolverine, and I thought it would be appropriate to answer this question. Sherrone had 1 year. Okay. It took Can you guys hear me out there? Give me a 1 if you can hear me. Give me a 1 if you can hear me. Please smash that like button. Anybody, give me a 1. Say yes. I can hear you. Anybody? Thank you, Mama. All right. This is going to be very, very brief. There's Chip Lindsey right there. And there's Rob Lowe. In 2024, Michigan football had a national championship caliber defense, without a doubt. Unfortunately, the Wolverines had a well below average offense, which took them from a top 10 preseason ranking and playoff goals to an 8-5 record. In 2025, the defense looks like it'll be championship caliber again, meaning the goals of the 2025 season depend on the offense. Sherrone Moore in Michigan completely overhauled the offense after the 2024 season. The Wolverines landed the #1 player in the nation in quarterback Bryce Underwood and hired North Carolina offensive coordinator Chip Lindsey to man the offense. Lindsey received high marks from former UNC quarterback Drake May, who credited his success to Lindsey. And now already Lindsey is receiving high marks from the offense, from the Michigan offense, as reported by Isaiah Hull. Samaj Morgan had very high praise for Lindsey, saying it's already night and day because I'm running more routes. I'm a technician when it comes to routes. So I don't like, okay, he's talking slang here. So I don't want to be running bubbles all day and stuff like Coach Campbell had me doing. That's not me. That's not my thing. All right. So Samaj Morgan, as a freshman, was particularly effective when he had Roman on one side, Cornelius on the other side, Colston Loveland, Blake, Donovan Edwards, and the other tight end. It'll come to me. But when he had those other weapons on the veteran offensive line, Samaj was very, very effective as a weapon in space. But last year, it wasn't. He didn't have the same team around him, and Kurt Campbell needed to be more creative with him. After a freshman season in which Morgan carved out a significant role on a national championship winning team, he had a disappointing sophomore season. Now it seems like Chip Lindsey has made real progress getting Morgan and the rest of the offense back onto that championship trajectory. Lindsey is going to make Michigan's offense far more dynamic and will take advantage of the strengths of his players. Michigan football doesn't need to have an Ohio State caliber offense in 2025. With how good the Wolverines defense is expected to be, they just need to be better than in 2024. Of Michigan's 5 losses in 2024, the only games that appeared out of reach, even with an improved offense, were Texas and maybe Oregon. Parentheses, debatable. Michigan should have been a playoff team in 2024, and they definitely should be in 2025. While we're going to see plenty of growing pains on offense, there should be no doubt that the offense is going to be much better in 2025 than in 2024. Chip Lindsey has had lots of success running an offense. developing a great quarterback in the past, and he should be able to do the same at Michigan. All right, that's that. Let me stop this. There's one thing I wanted to show you guys on X. I did bookmark Samaj Morgan. Putting in some work. You know what? Last year was probably good for Samaj. You know, to after winning his first year, winning a national title, experiencing some adversity, that was probably good for him in a way. Marmar, I'm going to drop the link right now. I managed to carry a whole 31 minutes by myself. There's the link. Let's see more. Bookmarks. All right, there's Will Howard, Keith Palmer, Robert Griffin III. I thought I bookmarked Samaj Morgan. I think he's in my likes. Hold on. Kendrick Perkins, Jim Tressel, Jesse Minter, Ryan Clark. Samaj, where are you? There's Luke Skywalker, Jim Harbaugh, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. Oh, there's Samaj. Hold on. There he is. Hold on, Marmar. Give me a second here. I just want to show this. All right, there's Samaj putting in work right there. Samaj Morgan getting work in this weekend before hosting a free STEM football camp in Detroit. The Michigan wide receiver is eyeing an expanded role this fall and continues giving back to the community. All right. He's not a tall kid, but he's a fast kid. And if you get him in space, he can be pretty dangerous. Marmar, what's up? Oh, he left me a message in the private chat. Please smash that like button if you haven't. Please consider subscribing if you are not. He said, oh, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Let me know when you're ready. I'm going to read some of the comments. You ready now? Give me a thumbs up. You ready? All right. My bad. What's going on?
Yeah, I was still at sleep. Yeah, we had a lot today. We were still at work. I thought we almost done. We got 1.5 truck left. But I like your since I'm here, I like the sentiment you just shared about Samaj Morgan and what Chip Lindsey gonna bring to Michigan's offense. It's gonna be real dynamic. But if you go look at the stats of Drake May in the first couple seasons with Chip Lindsey, you'll see that he progressed as he went on with Chip Lindsey for the 2 seasons he did get to play under Chip Lindsey. So I think the same thing is going to happen with Bryce. And my guy Juju pointed out that, you know, if you were paying attention to Bryce on the spring game, he was making checks at the line. What freshman coming in doing that? So that's a good sign with the offense. And then, like I said, that last play, they set that up from the get-go. That play was lingering, and then they finally used it, and then it worked to perfection. That's what they've been working on behind the scenes with the Chip Lindsey offense, because you got to understand the regular coaches wasn't, coaching during the spring game, so they really wasn't calling, offensive plays that you're gonna see throughout the season this year. So I think Samaj Morgan is gonna be a problem in that space as you talked about.
Okay. While you're here, you want to take a quick look at the satellite camp joint? I got that queued up.
We spoke about the satellite camp. They go down to SMU's satellite camp. They're going to Kennewaller State, and then they're doing one at Wayne State in Detroit. So they're going to Georgia, Texas, and Detroit. And I think that'll help recruiting and like what Jim Harbaugh was trying to do before he got blackballed up out of there for doing that. Because if Harbaugh got to do the satellite camp and got to do and then won that game in 16 in Ohio State, that would have been a game changer for Michigan.
Okay, because he got a lot of pushback from Saban, right? From the SEC, from the Southern
Yes.
School. He got a lot of pushback.
Yes, he did.
Okay, I'm gonna play this real quick, Marmar.
Go ahead.
I'm
gonna mute my thing, and I'm gonna finish this up. I'm gonna mute it, and then I'm gonna finish it up, and then I'll come right back.
All right. Fair use, everybody. Fair use.
On 3 in the Wolverine, as they'll be partnering with Wayne State on May 31st and June 1st. This camp will be sponsored by Sound Mind, Sound Body. Then also Michigan will be going to Texas and partner with SMU for a June 2nd camp. Then also in Georgia with Kennesaw State on June 4th. So a good little mix right there. Satellite camps seem to be coming back for Michigan this summer, as Michigan has locked in some summer satellite camps, according to E.G. Holland of On 3 in the Wolverine, as they'll be partnering with Wayne State on May 31st and June 1st. This camp will be sponsored by Sound Mind, Sound Body. Then also Michigan will be going to Texas and partner with SMU for a June 2nd camp. Then also in Georgia with Kennesaw State on June 4th. So a good little mix right there. Satellite camps.
Okay, so the satellite camps are back for Michigan. Okay, if you all recall, Jim was doing that when he first got hired, and then there was some heartburn from guys like Nick Saban and probably Kirby and those guys from down south who were like, "Yo, we don't want you invading our territory and taking our players." So I think he calmed all that down, but it seems as though it's back. I'm going to read some of your comments here while Marmar does what he's doing. I'll read some of your comments.
Hey, that is a good thing that's happening to us. That's a good thing that's happening to us. Because now they house settled on the outcome of what they're going to do. And then another thing about the settlement, does that mean if they're going that way with the NCAA, do that mean a win for Michigan in that investigation? I just don't know. I'm just asking you. You have a better understanding you have a better understanding than I do.
I'm sorry, repeat the question.
I'm asking, so with the verdict that came down the other day about the NCAA, there will be no longer just be a CEO. There won't be no NCAA. What does that do for the Michigan sign stealing investigation?
You know what,
does it have
Marmar?
an effect?
You know what? I gotta read up on that myself. I don't have an answer at this time.
Because if they're abolishing the NCAA, does that abolish the investigation?
Well, in theory, if you're abolishing the NCAA, then yeah, that might make the whole thing go away. Let me do a quick Google search here.
Yeah, because if that's what that's meaning, I don't have no clarity on it. I'm just asking a question because I want to be more clarified.
Let me do this. Okay, Okay, I'm not seeing that story, so I'm gonna have to read up on that and come back.
I'm about to send it to your phone.
Okay. In the meantime, let's see. John Stoops says, absolutely, he will do better. I personally think Michigan wins the Big Ten. John Stoops says, if OSU played Oklahoma, I would say it's not at noon. All right, let's see. CEO to oversee college sports rules enforcement after House versus NCAA settlement is finalized, per report. Okay, so there's going to be there's going to be a quote unquote new enforcement agency to oversee college athletics. Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to read up some more on this, Mara, before I can give my official answer. I have to think this out a little bit, but okay, that is an interesting development. Okay, I'm gonna read some of your comments here. Mar says go blue. Keegan says okay, give some eyeballs there. He says I'm almost done. Let's see, John Stoops says, look what happened with no quarterback. Now they have added 2 plus the rest of the offense. The defense just watched the Bama game, and that's the defense. Yep. John Stoops says, met T. Jones at the spring game class act. Mike Anderson says, go blue. Marmar says, Mark Anderson, my guy. He says, and yet Davis bested Howard. Okay. So yeah, so even with those paltry stats and the Jack Sawyer end zone interception, Davis Warren still found a way to win that game. So shout out to Davis. Marmarski says our receivers were open most of the time. We just didn't have a QB to accurately get it to them. John says exactly, Marmar. Okay, so you guys can hear me. John Stoops says Bryce has weapons, and after what I saw at the spring game, I think Michigan will be fine. I think you are right. Marmarski says exactly, speak them facts. Everybody, please smash that like button if you're not subscribed. Hey, who wants to be my 1400th subscriber? That could be you. Number 1,400. Who wants to be number 1,400? Do I need to do some kind of giveaway to get that? Do I need to do a book giveaway? John Stoops says, defense going to be crazy. Took Wink a little bit to communicate a system, but they understand now. Yeah, they figured it out toward the end. Marmarski says big facts. Is Trevor Coles in here? Marmar, you said Trevor Cole's my guy. I don't see the shoes. I don't see Trevor Coles in here. Let me look on the YouTube side. No, I don't see Treppa. Okay. Well, Marmar's working. So that's a lot of 7-Up there. So guys, that's a lot of 7-Up and Dr. Pepper there, Marmar.
Repeat.
All right.
1, 2. Yeah. Nah, I was. We just had a lot today. It's holiday picking. We had 16,000 a day. We got out of here. Everybody finishing up. I got the last skid in the 72. I'm done, but I just got to finish this skid. So if you want to go on, I'll be right here. I'm just finishing up this skid real quick.
All right. Well, I'll tell you guys what. I told Buckeyes Battle Cry I'd give them some love. They
Okay. Yeah. Stay away from
yeah,
them guys, please.
Rob
Hey, Amar, stay away from them, please. I'm warning
all right.
you.
Well, he made a video.
Repeat. One, two.
I might show a little bit of it
One,
during
two.
the show. It says predicting Ohio State to go 8-4 is insane. So some people are predicting Ohio State to go 8-4. So we'll watch a few minutes of this. I told them I'd show them some love. So I'm gonna play a little bit of this in the last 14 minutes here. Buckeyes Battle Cry. Those guys are trying to grow. I'm trying to grow. Everybody's trying to grow. So
No, I was just playing. I'm just saying they Buckeyes. You know, I know it's a rivalry, but yeah.
yeah, they were crushed after their 13-10 loss to us. Now, Joe Klatt has these guys ranked above us, I believe. But some people are predicting that their roster turned over as well. So Buckeyes Battle Cry, they particularly took umbrage with some people predicting they would go 8-4. Ohio State going 8-4, that's almost unheard of in this modern era. But they're changing quarterbacks. They've lost a bunch of guys. So let's take a quick look at this. Fair use.
The baseless claims. It's not even baseless claims. It's wishful thinking. A good amount of college football fans, mostly Michigan, are predicting that Ohio State is going to go 8-4. They're saying this claim, well, this wishful thinking with their chest out, but I bet you they wouldn't put money on it. And also, yes, Ohio State, they lost all their good amount of their starters to the NFL. Mostly defense. Yes, they lost their offensive coordinator, their Chip Kelly, their defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles. But let's not act like that Ohio State hasn't been there before.
John Stoops, are you one of the guys he's talking about? John Stoops says OSU will be lucky to go 8-4. I'm telling you, they have 2 linebackers. That's it. Please smash that like button. Please consider subscribing if you're not.
That's the delusion. That's the delusion right there. The school think Ohio State think that they just so much better than everybody. They're no wrong. They're not gonna lose. This is okay. You said modern era. Well, this is a new era of college football with the NIL. If you didn't spend all that money, see, they didn't spend all that money like they did last year. Now they relying on they hit the transfer portal, but they ain't hit it hard like they did the year before. Then you relying on these guys that didn't get really a lot of snaps. Like Maniac said, these guys didn't get a meaningful snaps like that. So with that being said, y'all got a tough road this year. Your first game is Texas, and if you're not prepared for that, because Texas will be, just like when they came to Ann Arbor last year. And you lost all
And
this. You lost a lot of stuff.
Arch Manning might be better than Quinn Ewers, even though it's his first year starting. He's a Manning. All right.
And he's a Manny, and they will. And Sarkisian already played them. They just played what 8 months ago, well, not even 6 months ago. Come on
All right,
now,
Buckeye fan.
repeat.
All right, let's hear a little more of this.
All right, let's go back to that 2015 team who came off a national championship season. That team was loaded with NFL talent. And when it was all said and done, 12 Buckeyes got drafted. And this is just naming just the first rounders. Joey Bosa, Ezekiel Elliott, Eli Apple, Taylor Decker, Darren Lee lost 16 starters total, mostly defense. All right. Those first rounders that I just named were not easy replacements. I mean, look at what some of these players did in the pros. I mean, following season, though, have, Urban Meyer, stays the head coach. You have offensive coordinator Ed Warner. He was nothing special. He was trash. That offense had no imagination with, just him calling the plays. I mean, look at the fall off when Tom Herman left, and look at just how they got absolutely dog walk against Clemson in the college football playoff.
So it sounds like we got Ed Warner from Ohio State. I didn't know that. I had no idea. I thought Jim got him from someplace else.
Just like they got somebody else from us. Okay.
Say it again?
Just like they got Greg Madison and the one guy that left. They both left with the Ohio State and coach.
Yeah.
So
it'll
be all right. They'll be all right.
That was a dark day, man. They went straight to Columbus. That was scary. All right.
Then you got Tim Beck, offensive coordinator, QB coach. Only lasted a year or two. Same as Ed Warner, lasted a year or two. Yes, Luke Fickell was still the defensive coordinator. But look what happened. Even though they lost all the starters, they didn't have that good of offensive coordinator. Again, Ed Warner was trash. Let's look at this article real quick, just for proof. 1 year removed from losing 16 starters, having 12 players drafted, Ohio State is back in the college football playoff. They were back in the college football playoffs. Now, let's look at, pretty much dealing with the same thing currently. And the field goal, the goalpost keeps getting moved on Ryan Day.
So they're banking on a repeat from that part of the Urban Meyer era where they can just reload and keep going. So this is only a 9-minute video. So Omar, you want to say something?
No. This is NIL era. We ain't worried about, because like I said, just like I discussed, they was able to spend all that money last year. They didn't do that this year. Now they're gonna rely on the same thing, the same way Michigan approached it last year. This how they approaching it this year. You got new head coach, you got new offensive, you got new coordinators, you got a new quarterback you breaking in. You're not certain about him. You got new defense you breaking in with a new defensive coordinator. Same thing Michigan went through last year after losing all them people to the draft and coming into the season with uncertainty. And then your first game with Michigan, your second game was Texas last year. Well, it's Ohio State's first game this year. The first game of the season. A lot of pressure is going to be on that. Because eyes is going to be in that. People from the TV are going to be watching. People at the stadium going to be watching. Texas fans going to fly up here and watch it. Everybody's going to be paying attention to that game on August 30th.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to let this go for a few more minutes because we're approaching an hour, and Dr. Dunbar has to get up in the morning.
All right, but we're going to get to that soon, in a bit. So the 2024 Natty team lost 15 starters, mostly defense. I see a connection here. They lost their offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, being replaced by Brian Hartline. Let me remind you that he's had a year to learn under a great offensive mind. And then they lost defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. Matt Patricia has a lot of NFL experience. I don't want to hear about how He sucked as a Lions head coach. Yes, I watched it. I'm a Lions fan. It was painful. But just because you're not, I mean, let me say it this way. Some people are not meant to be head coaches, but at the end of the day, good amount of the time, they end up being great coordinators. I mean,
All right, now Trevor Coles is here. Trevor Coles says, and I think this is in retort, in response to something Marmar said. He says, it's also the head coach suspended on game day era too. Touche, Trevor Coles, touche.
Hey, but he gonna be suspended during the Nebraska and Central Michigan game. Your point?
Yeah,
Your point?
that was a
Hey,
what about
it,
Harbaugh
it,
thing? What about Harbaugh?
he was suspended and still beat y'all. But they want to talk about the difference between CEO and coach. He 2-0 against Ohio State.
All right, I'll play one more minute of this, guys, and I'm gonna wind the string down. Shout out to Buckeyes Battle Cry.
I mean, a lot of coordinators, defense coordinators, offensive coordinators have left for the schools or the pros to become head coaches. It didn't work out. So chances are they were better in the previous role. It worked out better. I'm not going to hold that against him. All right. But other than that, Patricia, yes, it may be the possibility that the game has left him behind. But what is going in his favor is he learned under the best, Bill Belichick. He has he's won multiple Super Bowls as a defensive coordinator of the New England Patriots. He has that experience, and I welcome it. All right, I'm going to give it a chance. All right, but here's the thing. Even though they lost all these starters, just like the 2015 team, there's one thing that has kept it afloat, and that is recruiting. Under Urban Meyer, they didn't miss a beat, not only because Urban Meyer is a great coach, but because he always produced top 5 recruiting classes.
All right, Marmar, you got a shout here. This is from Les Austin Jr. He says, "What up, though, Marmar?"
I just shouted him back out again,
Okay.
again. We are
Okay.
in the era of the NIL. We'll see on August 30th if it pays dividends. I can't make a prediction right now because there's too many variables going on. Okay, there's too many unmeaningful predictions to make. But I'm telling you, if you don't come prepared August 30th, Buckeyes, it can get ugly on national TV, and every head and eye will be on that game. That's all I'm saying. They can talk about the suspension, but we beat them without when our coaches was suspended. Okay, they can throw shade all they want to, but we the kings of the north, as Johnny Olden will say, kings of the north. You get to nothing. We can't keep telling these Buckeyes the same old thing. They can believe what they want to believe, but the eyes will be able to see that on August 30th. You can talk all that game, but we better see that on August 30th. At these coordinators and this team going to correlate and run on all cylinders. We'll see. August 30th is not far, so they better not put all their eggs in the basket right now because it can get real ugly on August 30th. If it's a Fox News kickoff, 12 o'clock at 3:30, it can be bad in Columbus.
Okay. And I think on that note, I want to go ahead and wind this down. Shout out to Buckeyes Battle Cry. I think they're live right now. Buckeyes Battle Cry. Maybe we could collab at some point. You could tell us about your team. You guys have a very big game to kick the season off. That's ambitious. Yeah, scheduling Texas for your first game with Arch Manning at quarterback. Marmar, do you have anything else you want to say? That's a lot of inventory there, man.
Go blue.
Go blue. All right.
See you,
I'll talk to you.
See you next Wednesday. I'll talk to you when I get off work. I'll call you.
All right.
All right, bye.
All right. All right, everyone. That's Marmarski. That is yeah. So this is my Wednesday live stream. Hey, please like, share, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. Shout out to Bo Lytle. Respect is earned. Who wants to be my 1,400th subscriber? If you're watching on the playback, please consider doing that. So will Sherrone Moore's second year be better than his first? I think all signs are pointing to yes, it will, and it will be a good year. All right, everybody, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this stream up. Please like, share, and subscribe. This is Big Discussions 76 Sports. Before I go, a quick plug. John Stoops, thank you for stopping through. T. Wright, I don't know which fan base you are a part of. I don't know if you're a scarlet and gray guy, a green and white guy, a maize and blue guy like us. But thank you for stopping through. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Guys, I wrote a sports-related book. It's a story about what sports teach you about life as a young person. If you are, this is on Amazon, the ebook, the hardcover, and the paperback. And if you are interested in getting a copy, a signed copy, just use one of those forms of payment down there. The hardcover I'm selling for $27, and the paperback I'm selling for $22. I do this. A major part of this book is learning about sports in the early 90s, and the Fab Five are mentioned in here, and their classic battles with Christian Laettner and Duke. Jim Harbaugh's name does get mentioned in here. Bo Schembechler's name gets mentioned in here. John U. Bacon's name gets mentioned in here. So Michigan sports and Michigan football and Michigan basketball get mentioned in here. If you do render a payment using one of these methods, make sure you send me your mailing address as well, so I will know where to send it. But if you have any thoughts on tonight's stream, let me know in the comments section below. Will Sherrone Moore's second year be better than his first? All we need is some offense, and it looks like we have lots of that now. All right, everybody, have a good night. Go blue. As always, remember that your attitude determines your altitude. Always try to do your best. Take care, and I will talk to you the next time. Go blue.